Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty All-22 edition of our podcast. We're breaking down the offensive line from that Steelers game. Steelers victory over the Washington Commanders 28-27 in just a crazy football game. Hey, first thing I want to tell you guys, not that you guys care, I had a wisdom tooth pulled. It hurt way worse. It was impacted. So, if I sound a little funny, or if things don't come out the way that they should, just bear with me. Like I mentioned, you guys don't care about that, but the deadline is a deadline, man. We got to continue to put these things out for you guys. I love doing these all 22, especially the offensive line. We're going to break all this down. Without further ado, let's get into this, people. So breaking this down, the first play we got here, the Steelers, it's a 2nd and 10. We're at the Washington 43-yard line. The Steelers are in 11 personnel, and this is a 12-yard gain by Jaylen Warren. First play back after Broderick got hurt. You look at Broderick here. Look, I know a lot of people are going to say, maybe he's lazy. He didn't do enough on this play. But, yes, I get it. His guy made the tackle, but his guy's making the tackle. He makes the initial contact 9 yards down the field, people. Let's not be too nitpicky. You all know me. I've been super hard on Broderick, but we can't go crazy like that. So if his guy's making the play 9 yards down the field, I'll take it every time. Let's look at the double team by Washington and Dan Moore. Hip to hip, just how you teach it. They seal the edge. There's a cutback that needs to be there because the corner's sitting outside. But look at this double team. Look at their footwork. They're working in tandem. Good cutback by Jaylen. Jaylen reads it perfectly, but they stay engaged with their guys, and that's why their guys don't make the tackle. That's how you teach it. McCormick pushes his man past. He stays, and then he pushes his man past. Isaac literally dominates his guy. If you look at Isaac's footwork here, he reaches his man and seals him and creates an alley. Just look at his footwork. Those first two steps, it's almost like the defender doesn't even get off on the snap. That's outstanding by Isaac with his footwork, man. So those first two steps are crazy. And then our man, Zach Frazier, just doing what he does, man. Just climbing up to the next level, lets his man go out the back door. Goes a little easy out the back door, but that's okay. We'll take it, man. This is a good play by the Steelers here. Really good play. Okay, so the next play here, 1st and 10, Washington 16. We're in 13 personnel, no gain by Najee. This is a bad play right here. If you stop it, you look at it, Washington's got 9 guys in the box. I mean, just think about that for a second. They got 9 guys. You count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys at the line of scrimmage. The Steelers don't have enough to block them. So if soon as Najee gets the ball here, if you play it and you stop it, as soon as he gets the ball, I know people are thinking, well, he could have run right. Well, if you're the running back and you see, what are you trying to do as a running back? You're trying to run to daylight. To the right, you see guys there. There's a guy leveraged. To the left, wide open space until he goes left, and then, there's an unblocked guy there. What are you supposed to do? Look, there's going to be times when you are outflanked, but in this situation, the Steelers just got to get out of this play. I think they got to check this to a pass play. They just don't have enough guys to block. Najee cuts the daylight like he's supposed to. There's a guy there. But let's break down the minutia of the football play as far as what the offensive line does. Mason McCormick, this was not one of his better days, people. Mason McCormick got his butt whipped a lot in this football game, and he does here. Just not exactly what you're wanting to see out of your offensive lineman. I mean, come on, McCormick. He's better than this. Look, his technique is bad. We know that. But when you go against guys and when your technique's going to be bad and you face some of these better, no punch, no feet, no nothing. His guy goes right around him to the back door. Now, I'm not saying his guy necessarily made the play, but he gets in on the play. That was bad by McCormick there. You look at Broderick, one step out to the right here. Broderick's doing his job. Not a lot for him to do there. You go back, you look at Zach Frazier on the other hand. Zach Frazier's got his guy. Look, you'd want to see him drive his feet a little bit more, but his guy doesn't make the tackle. Look, The ultimate job for you as an offensive lineman is to not let your guy make the tackle. And he doesn't do that. You look at Isaac and Dan Moore, little double team here. Look, there's a little bit of an opening right there if Najee just hits it downhill immediately. But this play's not going anywhere. It's just not going anywhere. They're outflanked. They got more than what we can block. He doesn't even get the benefit of like a counter influence. Like the linemen don't even get the benefit of that to get a guy running opposite direction. This is just literally inside zone, downhill, get what you get. Don't like the play call. Look, McCormick was bad. Everybody else was okay. I just don't like the play call here. You can't blame it too much on the guys here. There's just nothing you can do. Just nothing you can do. Okay, here we go. 1st and 10 from the pit 21. We're in 13 personnel. It's a sack. This one is on Russ. Look, you look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys again at the line of scrimmage. We're going to play action. There's not enough guys to block. I mean, I'm not opposed to throwing the football here, but you got to get it out quick, and you got to check to something different, because if you're trying to go play action and if they bring the guys like they did, not enough people to block. And that's what happens. But I will say, look at Darnell Washington. He goes the wrong way. Look at this. I'm like, come on, man. It's an inside influence. We're trying to influence that we're running the zone outside stretch play there, and he goes the wrong direction. And you see him try to come back late. I'm like, at least if he goes the right direction, maybe he blocks one of these guys, but he doesn't. That's on him. That is strictly on him. Everybody else is fine, but again, I don't like the play. I just don't like the play call. The play, I mean, you're going play action with 9 guys in the box. If they happen to bring somebody, you can't block everybody. I mean, even if Washington does go the right direction, one of those guys is still going to come. He can only block one of them. He can't block both of them. It's just a bad play call here. Got to get out of it. We've been applauding Russ for some of the stuff that he did. You got to take the good with the bad, and this one was bad. You got to get out of this play. You just have to get out of this play. I know the formation in the personnel group isn't ideal to throwing the football, but you were trying to throw the football anyway. You just got to check to something else and get the ball out of your hand quick. Again, not a ton here, but I wanted to show you guys, some of these sacks, because people, when they see sacks, they immediately think offensive line stinks. They're not doing their job. That wasn't the case here, man. In this case, Russ got to get us out of this play. We're in 13 personnel. They got 9 guys at the line of scrimmage, which Washington did a ton of. When we got into 13 personnel, they just brought guys and sat them there and said, I dare you to run the football. And in the previous play, we saw what happened. Steelers weren't able to do that, and this is what happens. Just got to get out of this one, man. Got to get out of it. All right, next play, we got 3rd and 4. It's from the pit 41. It's 11 personnel. This is a 6-yard gain. Russ scrambles out of here. Now, first things first, let's look at Broderick. Broderick's got a really wide 9. Broderick does his job there. The guy runs super wide, trying to turn the corner and cut off the edge on Broderick. He does what he's supposed to do, man. He gets his hands on him late, pushes him past. Good job there. The guy wants to make that big of a rush. Okay, take that big of a rush. Broderick's big enough, strong enough, athletic enough to get this guy out of there. Now, let's go to McCormick. Look, man, this was not, again, I've mentioned it, and I'm going to keep mentioning it because we see a lot of this. This was not McCormick's best day today. He doesn't handle this twist very well at all. He sees it right up front. He recognizes it late. He has a weak inside hand when the guy crosses his face. I'm not saying guys aren't going to cross your face. This is the National Football League. You can't keep people from doing that. But you got to be able to get enough of a punch to push them back, or at least be able to get on the right levels with your other offensive linemen so that you can pass this off. He doesn't do that, and then he just bangs right into Zach. I mean, he gets his shoulders turned inside. You got to have a strong inside hand. Come on, McCormick. This just wasn't good, man. Way too soft, on his initial punch. He sees the twist, but he doesn't move his feet. And that's the whole thing. You've got to move your feet when you see it. You can't just try to pass people with your hands. Guys are way too quick, way too athletic. They're going to get past you. So you got to slide your feet and pass it off along with bringing a punch. Got to do that. Just really, really weak inside hand there by McCormick, and it creates uneven levels. Zach holds on here. If you watch it, Zach basically holds on the play and he gets away with it inside. I guess they didn't see it, but if you watch, Zach holds his guy, and it allows Russ to get out. If Zach doesn't hold, I think Russ, it's either a no gain or it's a sack. But you do what you got to do, man. You do what you got to do. Again, he's getting bashed by a guy because McCormick doesn't do his job. So you got to hold. But, you look at the rest of this play, everybody else, they're fine. Isaac is good. Even Isaac gets knocked off because, of Zach getting knocked off. I'm like, come on, McCormick. You got to be better here. Dan Moore just basically stonewalls his guy, which is outstanding. But McCormick, not a good play. But look at Russ. Look at him get outside. Old man Yeller getting outside, getting a key first down here, man. Good play by Russ. Good play. But McCormick got to be a lot better in these situations. All right, next play here, 1st and 10, Pitt 47, 12 personnel, goes for no gain. This is supposed to be an outside zone. And we'll start from the right. Broderick doing his job. Look, I know people are going to say, well, he lets his guy run upfield. No, the guy is going upfield. This is a wide 9 here. Technically, the 7 technique is on his outside shoulder, and at the snap, he goes inside. Well, it's Broderick's job. When you're running outside zone, you go to a zone. Whoever comes in your zone, that's who you block. So Broderick blocks his guy, but look at what he does. He creates a lane and pushes that guy wide. You can still run outside zone there because you look, as soon as Jalen gets the football, his trajectory is still able to hit right off, or what it would have been, inside leg. But look at Mason McCormick here. Again, come on, man. It's on. Look, he's got an inside shade. I get it. But you know where the play's going. So you're going to step with your outside foot. And McCormick, he kind of does. He picks it up and puts it down, but he sees the guy. But then it's almost like he's going upfield. If you see that his second foot is upfield, outside zone, your second foot can't be upfield, people. And that's what gets him in trouble. That's when I talk about his technique is bad. His second foot, it can't be upfield. You got to go lateral because you're trying to block a guy on the outside. As soon as he takes that second foot upfield, he's beat. And then when he gets beat, you see him. He doesn't bring a punch. His head's on the inside shoulder versus being outside leverage. And Dante Fowler gets right around him. Just right around him. And he makes the play. And that's, look, you got to start with the fundamentals as an offensive lineman. I keep talking to you guys about it. I'm going to keep preaching about it. I know you guys think that maybe I'm being a little bit too technical, but a lot of offensive line, I wouldn't say a lot, most of offensive line is technical. Getting in the right position, getting your hands, your feet, your body in the right position. And when you don't do it against good linemen, this is the result. That second foot goes upfield. You're not blocking anybody on that outside zone when your foot goes upfield, man. Your second foot. I'm sorry. Especially when you don't gain ground with your first one. When you just pick up your outside foot and you put it right back down in the same spot, you haven't gained any ground. You're already giving the defense an advantage. And then when the next foot goes upfield versus lateral, you're beat. You're beat. And that's exactly what happened here. He got beat. Then he doesn't bring a punch. And when you don't bring a punch and you catch a guy, you're beat. And you see exactly what happened. Go to the backside of this. Zach Frazier, he gets up through and gets to the nose. But again, the play, it gets bent back. Zach's like, hey, man, I'm trying to reach this guy outside. I do it. But he's going out the back door pretty damn quick. What the hell's going on here? Well, that's what happened. That's literally what happened on this play. You look at Isaac on the backside, Isaac and Dan Moore. Let's look at them both. Isaac goes up. He gets to the next level. Dan Moore runs his ass off to cut this guy off. Now, does he get pushed? He does. You'd like to see him be a little bit more physical, but he's trying to cut off a backside three technique. He does an outstanding job. I just don't think he's not enough. He's not physical enough at the point of attack. He gets there, which is what you want to do. Like I said, he runs his ass off to cut the guy off, but then his guy kind of just discards him. You want to see him be a little bit more physical, but this play gets busted because Mason McCormick, bad technique. It cost him in this game. We've seen games where it hasn't cost him. In this game, it cost McCormick with his technique. It cost him. Okay, so we got the next play up here. It's 1st and 10 from the Washington 36. Steelers are in 13 personnel. This one ends in a sack. Yeah, this one, the game just gets us. It just gets us here. Sometimes the defense is just better than what you got going on. And that's what happens here. Look, again, the Steelers are in 13 personnel. They're split out. The two tight ends are a little split out. You see Pruitt and Freiermuth spread out a little bit from the formation, but still fairly tight. You count the guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, technically 9 guys again right around the line of scrimmage. Washington, as I mentioned before, they just made a concerted effort to say, if you're going to put 13 personnel on the field, and especially if you're going to be in a tight formation, we're going to put 9 guys around the box and take our chances. And that's exactly what they did in this situation. They ran a little game. They looped the defensive end, loops all the way around. If you watch the play develop, the only thing that I would say is Dan Moore, look, he's got to get some depth here. He doesn't take a step back when his guy starts to loop. And when he doesn't do that, then Isaac is back. The levels, again, are off. There's no way for them to be able to pass this on, and Fowler comes right around the edge and underneath, and there's nobody there to block him. It's just one of those situations where those guys get paid and they beat us. I would say Dan Moore's got to take a step back. But if you look at those two interior guys, they do an excellent job of just sticking to Frazier and to Isaac and doesn't allow to pass. The one person, again, Mason McCormick, come on, man. He just doesn't move his feet here. His technique, I know it's really bad, but it was real bad in this game. He just gets pushed back, gets discarded. You could say, well, he's got to throw the ball. No, he doesn't. You got to have more time than that, especially if this is the route. I don't know. McCormick was just bad, man. You got to move your feet. You got to punch. He had a weak outside hand. It just wasn't good by McCormick there. The technique was really, really bad. But this one, I would just attest to. Steelers just got beat on a game. Sometimes they win. Sometimes they win. All right. So 1st and 10, Pitt 25, 12 personnel, 11-yard gain by Najee here. The first thing that I will say is, what in the hell is Darnell Washington doing? You see Darnell Washington there? Like, he's running out like this is a pass pattern. I would even say when he gets off the line of scrimmage, you're thinking, okay, he's just going to go block the safety. Okay, I can live with that. But he doesn't. He just runs right by him. It's like he thinks it's going to be a pass play, and he turns around looking for the football. I'm like, come on, man, what are you doing? It's like, this was one of 2 times where Darnell Washington doesn't know what the hell is going on. There was another play earlier in the game where he runs out for a pass. The ball comes whizzing right by his head. He doesn't even look. And I'm like, excuse me, you're supposed to catch a ball. Well, in this situation, he's running out for a pass, turning around looking for it, and they're running the ball right behind him. Now, you can say, well, he's trying to run off. No, he's not. Darnell Washington is one of the best blockers on this football team, people. On a run play, he's going to be blocking somebody, not just running down 15 yards down the field doing nothing. I'm sorry. That's not what's supposed to happen here. So I have no clue what he's doing. So no clue. And this is not an RPO. Before anybody said, well, maybe it's an RPO. Look at Russell Wilson turns around and hands the football off. Not to mention, he's under center. This is not an RPO. This is just Washington has no idea what he's doing. Look at the double team here on Moore and Isaac. I mean, look at that double team. Hip to hip, getting movement. Linebacker comes down. Isaac comes off. That is textbook on what you're supposed to do. Get movement at the point of attack. You see both their feet, step towards the guy. They get movement. That is literally how they teach you how to double team and to pick up a linebacker that's standing right there. That's exactly what you're wanting out of a double team. Just textbook there. Look at our man Frazier here. This is tough, what he's having to do here. But you see the double team blocking back. They just not him and McCormick knock his guy out of the way. I would like to see, again, McCormick get way more physical on the double team. He's so worried about run through, and just get movement first. Get movement on your double team first. The linebacker will come to you. Look, the linebacker just stands there and waits. They could have driven that nose 4 yards down the field. Just got to get more movement on the double team from McCormick, but not a horrible job. Not a horrible job. But the double team was really good. And then Broderick, he just seals the backside. I mean, this is a good play by the Steelers. Najee, he reads it, makes a guy miss that Washington doesn't block. 11-yard gain. I will take it. I love it. Good play by the Steelers there. Okay, here's a 3rd and 8 from the Pittsburgh 38. We're in 11 personnel. This is that catch and run by Jaylen Warren here. First things first, you see Broderick. Broderick doesn't get off on the snap. He's looking around, he's asking, and they snap the ball before he's ready, and he doesn't get off on the snap. Now, the one thing to notice, look at his first foot. He doesn't get any traction. He doesn't get any kickback on his kickback leg. He just kind of picks it up and puts it right back down. Well, if you get off late on the snap and you don't get any depth, well, you're going to be chasing. And that's exactly what Broderick is doing here. However, look at his athleticism. This is why people like Broderick so much. A lot of times, and even, hell, just say a game ago, this guy breaks down Broderick's outside arm and turns the corner on him immediately. And that's a sack. That's not what happens here. Broderick gets back in position because he's so athletic. And again, that's Dante Fowler. That's not just some run-of-the-mill, in that's rushing against him. He gets back in position, gets his hands on him, and because he's so powerful, pushes him by. That's exactly what you want to have happen, because Fowler thinks, oh, I got him. I got him beat, and I'm just going to turn this corner. Well, he doesn't. And even when he turns the corner, you'll notice where Broderick is in his position. If Fowler says, you know what, I'm going to spin back inside because I got him off balance. No, Broderick wasn't off balance. He was in position that in case he had a counter move, he was going to be in position. So I like this rep. Look, he gets off late. Don't get me wrong. And you don't want that. And he doesn't get depth with that kick leg. But again, that's why I think Broderick is still the most talented guy on the line, because most guys get beat. He didn't. His athleticism and power got him through. By the way, people, Broderick Jones, he was the best offensive lineman for Pittsburgh in this football game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Just so people understand, I told y'all that I'm going to be hard on him when he's bad, but when he's good, I'm going to tell you, Broderick Jones was the best offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Washington Commanders. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts. Doesn't mean that he didn't have bad plays, but he was the best player on the football field as far as an offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. And that's all we can ask, man. Just keep getting better, Broderick. Just keep getting better. Let's move here to our man, Mason McCormick. That's again, that as good as Broderick was, that's as bad as Mason McCormick was. This is horrible. No punch, doesn't move his feet. It's like a basketball move. The guy got him to stop his feet, and he just juked him. He's not in a stance. He's standing straight up. And when you don't punch and you don't move your feet, this is exactly what happens. That's McCormick's got to get better. He's just got to get better. I'm surprised he wasn't that much better coming out of a bye week. You would think that they would have cut up a ton of stuff and that he would just be working nothing but fundamentals. And again, don't get me wrong. They have a really good defensive line for the Commanders, but I don't care how good they are. You can't allow this to continuously happen. This was just not a good look for McCormick here. Just not a good look at all. No feet, no punch, struggles against these athletic 3 techniques and nose guards, And, and this is a linebacker, I understand, but you got to be better than that. You just got to be better than that. You look at Zach Frazier, steps up, pushes his guy. The guy's wanting to cross his face. He just pushes him, a guy walls him off. Isaac, the same thing. You'd like to see Isaac be a little bit firmer with his outside hand because it gets broken down and gets his shoulders turned, but at least he stays in contact. He stays in contact and goes and pushes him by. Now, it was a scary play there because Dan Moore, is there blocking his guy, and he falls on his leg. Whew. It's an offensive lineman nightmare. But he wasn't hurt. He gets up. Good play. Jaylen Warren out of the backfield there. Big game for the Steelers on 3rd and 8. I have no idea what coverage that Washington was in. I mean, I get it that Jaylen should have blocked that linebacker that's blitzing, but it's a good thing he turned his head around quick because I think he realized he's like, uh-oh, I didn't block this guy and he's coming. I better turn around and catch the football. That's good by Russell Wilson. Good play there. The Steelers getting out the gate. All right, so here we got 2nd and 6, Pitt 17, 12 personnel. I just praised Broderick. Well, it wasn't all good for Broderick. This is, ugly. It just lazy, no feet, tries to shove a guy. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad by Broderick there. Just getting hip tossed. But that's what happens, man. You go against these aggressive 3 techniques, and you go down, you get lazy, you don't punch. Look at his hand placement. You look at his hand placements on the outside shoulder. He's just trying to shove a guy versus running through a guy and shooting your hands to his chest plate. He just tries, I'm just going to shove this guy and just overpower him. You're not doing that to big-time NFL defensive tackles, man. This is not college. You can't just overpower guys like that. And that's exactly what happened. He tried to do that. That's Daron Payne. Daron Payne just says, oh, really? And just literally hip tosses him out of the way. So you can't do that. You got to use your technique. You got to use your fundamentals. Not a good play by Broderick Jones there. But you know what's worse? Pat Freiermuth. Lord have mercy. This ends up being a 5-yard gain because Jaylen Warren is just absolutely unbelievable. But look at Pat Freiermuth. Come on, man. You got to be better than that. You got to be better than that. And I understand you're not going to be able to block defensive ends. He's not a good blocker. But if that's the case, then just put him in motion or something, because this is terrible. That is terrible. And I don't even know if it's effort. He's that bad blocking. Literally, he's just that bad blocking. But how Jaylen Warren breaks those tackles, who knows? But he does. Zach Frazier, he gets through, going to block. He jumps through. Guy goes out the back door on him, but at least he makes him go around him. It's not a great rep, but at least he makes the guy go around him for a 5-yard gain. Our man McCormick here, trap block. That's good by him. You'd like to stay more engaged, but hey, his guy doesn't make the tackle, and even if he was going to, it was going to be 7-8 yards down the field. So good by him. Isaac, same thing. They're doing kind of an influence. Seal backside. He and Dan Moore don't have a ton to do. But Broderick, Freiermuth, not good. This play is made by Jaylen Warren and Jaylen Warren alone because both Freiermuth and Broderick were awful. Just awful on this play. Now, Darnell Washington, on the other hand, very good. He's blocking a safety, gets into it a little bit after the play because he's blocking through the whistle. I love it. Be that guy. Absolutely be that bully. Does a good job, but yeah, we got to get better effort from Broderick and Freiermuth on this. All right. Then we got the touchdown play. 3rd and 9 from Washington 32. We're in 11 personnel. And basically everybody on this play, except for Broderick Jones, gets beat. Everybody gets beat. It will start from the left to the right. I look at Dan Moore and Isaac Siamala. It's almost like they don't anticipate a twist at all, and they just get murdered to the inside, don't have strong inside hand or feet, Neither one of them move their feet. They see it too late. They both get beat simultaneously. It's insane. It was almost like synchronized swimming on how they got beat at the exact same time with guys diving inside. Got to have a much stronger inside hand. Got to anticipate it. And I think Isaac slides too far. He's a guard. He doesn't have to slide that far out. If the guy wants to go wide, let him go wide. You can block him out there. Dan Moore gets beat too. Neither one of them anticipate a counter move. Just not good. Just not good. Then you look at Zach Frazier. He oversets and doesn't see the twist coming back inside. He should know something. When your guy's not rushing and he acts like he's going to rush, this is just a good game. I mean, it's a good game, but Zach's beat here. Doesn't get enough depth. So when the guy goes, because it's a twist game. When the guy comes to twist, he's not there to take him on. And then McCormick doesn't get his hand placement right. He gets bull rushed. Now, he does stand front. I'll give him credit for staying in front. But if there's not other guys there, McCormick's beat to the inside too. You see his guy fall off. Payne falls off at the end. If there's not other guys there, he's getting a sack. It just was not a good effort on this. Broderick is just kind of out there. His guy stopped rushing, but he's in position, so good for him. But we get beat. Russ just makes a throw. He's like, look, I got out one-on-one coverage outside. I'm throwing this up to M.Williams. He makes the read, and it's a touchdown ball game. But as far as the offensive line goes, yeah, that's the one thing to look at. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen get beat on this play. It's a good game. Again, like I mentioned before, those guys get paid to make plays. And they did. They made a play. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, our quarterback sees it, gets the ball out of his hand, and then our wide receiver goes and makes a play, exactly what we made a trade for. Pittsburgh Steelers win 28-27. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me, man. Like I said, getting this tooth pulled was a hell of a lot worse than what I thought it was going to be, but we're fighting through it. We're fighting through it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out like you do. Remember, moving forward, we've got the big show coming on Tuesday night. That'll be at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Make sure you guys show up for that live show. We got our podcast coming on tomorrow as well. And then, again, we'll be back with our good old scouting report on Friday for those nasty Baltimore Ravens. And then we'll do the live pregame and postgame. So appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We love you. Aloha.